Welcome to the Talk of Fame podcast. I am your host, Kaya Malatigney, and today I'm joined by actor Dillion Wrich. Was born in Las Vegas, Nevada. He originally wanted to be a filmmaker, but focused on his new passion once he met filmmaker and friend Justin Melson in high school. He started in his first very short film in 2011, directed by Melson, not knowing what to expect. He instantly fell in love with acting, then spent his remainder of high school developing his skills and verbosely with his roles and projects made by his friends. After graduation, he decided to pursue his dream as an actor. So when he was 19, he moved to LA, which is, crazy at 19 years old, if you ask me. But then he started for a year at New York Film Academy in Burbank, California, in which he started building his resume in LA, which landed roles in various short films. So in 2017, he got his first co-star role for YouTube's Red Escape the Night. Dillon, thank you so much for joining us on this
First,
episode. I'm literally super excited to have you on.
no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So, firstly, I know Julian mentioned you a couple of times in our episode recently, but to learn
Mhm.
kind of more about you, tell us, more about you and what you do and why you moved to Los Angeles at 19 years old.
Well, obviously, I'm here to pursue acting. But when I'm not acting and I'm not here in LA, I work as a server at a restaurant. And when I'm not doing that, I'm focusing on like creating like art projects, like painting and writing and drawings and stuff, and skateboard on my free time whenever I get time, but lately I haven't had time. And then also like indoor bouldering. That's like a new big thing I'm into right now. So those are the things I like to do. Um, not acting.
Oh, very fun
Yeah,
things. Like, do
yeah.
you still go visit Las Vegas here and there, or like not very much often?
Yeah, it's a little harder now that I'm getting older and I have like, more responsibilities, but I try to visit my family as much as I can because, I just love my family obviously. So I try to go like maybe like once every few months or so. I try to at least, but
I know acting and life can be so busy sometimes. So, like it's so
yeah.
it was like luckily Nevada and California are close in state, so it's not bad, but it's
Yeah, it's not
life can be
bad.
so crazy. But of course, like you wanted to be a filmmaker at
Mhm.
first before becoming an actor. But how did you kind of, transition like your mindset from wanting to pursue filmmaking to acting? What kind of influenced that shift?
So long story short, when I was a kid, my family and I we used to go to Universal Studios a lot. So my favorite ride was like the tour, the tram ride, and I just remember always being fascinated, like what's beyond those gates, what people were working on, and stuff like that. And I just always be fascinated with that, and I just got super into making films. And like I remember playing with my aunt's camera a lot, and then I eventually got my own camera for my birthday, and I was making stop motion figure videos because I didn't really have like a lot of friends to act with at the time until I got a little bit older, and I was doing stuff like that. And then I remember I saw The Dark Knight, and Heath Ledger's performance just blew me away. And that was like I just never seen a role like that before, and I was so like obsessed with that. I couldn't figure out why. At first, I mean, obviously it's an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it 7 times in the movie
Really?
theaters. And oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan, and also just Heath Ledger was just amazing. And then I realized, oh, that's why I keep going because Heath Ledger's just doing something magical on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to high school to go pursue learning the filmmaking stuff because they had like a filmmaking and TV broadcasting
Mm-hmm.
thing over there. Like, so I went over there and I was going to learn that. And then I had like great teacher, like my one teacher, Mr. Fiddler. He was really cool. But I met one of my close friends from high school, Samuel Rizov. He ended up being really close friends, and I met my other close friend, Justin Melson, that you talked about earlier. which would be crucial because all three of us became really close friends. But Justin was a filmmaker as well, and he was making his first short film. And I remember he put something. This is going to date me so much, but he put something on Facebook, like, and he was like saying, "Oh, I'm casting for my film for the lead," and no one was really saying anything. And I just barely met the guy, and I like messaged him, and was like, "Hey, I'll act in your film." And he was like, "Well, have you ever acted before?" And I'm not going to tell him I've been playing with action figures and filming myself, But I was like, yeah, I've done it. And he's like, "Well, okay, well, can you at least be serious?" I was like, yeah, I could be serious.
How
And
hard
then
can
he's like,
that
"All right,
be?
well, yeah." In my mind, I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't screw this up now." And he was like, "Yeah, you got the job." I'm like, "Okay." And then we went out and filmed like this great story. And I just remember one of the scenes I did, it feels weird. I feel like I blacked out and just don't remember what I did. I just remember I was so in character, like I couldn't think of anything else. And then once he like yelled cut, I'm like, "Oh, whoa, where did I go?" And ever since then, I've been hooked on that feeling of just disappearing into a role. And then after that, I realized acting is where I want to be. I mean, I still love films, obviously the whole process, but like that was like one of the best feelings I've ever felt in my life. So
I know, like I think
mm,
feelings honestly does hit different, and especially with the
it
Christopher Nolan
does.
film. I never seen the film, but I heard it was really good. I seen clips of that movie, but I never
Oh
actually seen
wow.
it, which is very weird because I'm usually on top of those like movies and everything,
Oh
which is
man.
weird. But I heard nothing but amazing things about it.
Mm,
But with acting, it really just hits different. Of course, filmmaking and acting of course, filmmaking makes movies, so of course, but
you're right.
it's
Yeah.
like with that acting feeling, it just hits different than filmmaking.
I agree.
But like how did you start building like your resume as an actor after you moved to LA?
So yeah, after I moved to LA, I went to New York Film Academy for like a year to study acting a little bit more. And then after I had some amazing teachers, by the way. That was like the biggest part was like I felt like I had the skill to act, but I was missing the mechanical parts, like the technicality. Like I had teachers like Dig Wayne or Mirage Gerbic telling me, it's focused like what's the task, like not so much the lines, but like the behavior and like what is your character like trying to go for. Like those weren't things I really thought about like that hard until I went to that school, and it's made me a better actor because of that. But once I did that, I graduated, and then I was self submitting a lot for any part I can find on Actors Access or LA Casting. And I eventually found I did some short films, started building it up, but the big one that I got super fortunate was Adam Lawson, the director of Escape the Night, was casting for season 2 for YouTube, and he put out a thing for his project, and I was drawn to it because I think they were talking about like it was saying like something about werewolves and stuff like, and I was like, oh, I love like that kind of stuff. And I remember I was auditioning for it. I was in the car and I called Justin, and I was like, I don't know if I should audition for this. This is kind of scary. And then he was just like, "No, you got it. Just go do it." And I'm like, "Okay." Went and did it, and then director's like, "All right, thank you." I didn't hear back for a week or two, and then I remember I was sitting in my chair and I got an email basically saying like, "Hey, you got the role." And I like, jumped out of my chair because this was like the first big thing I've ever done.
Mm,
And I knew it was a big deal because getting that on your resume, like SAG eligibility, is like huge.
yeah.
And the reason why it was huge is because I was looking for representation before all this stuff, like agents, but they didn't really, I wouldn't say care, but they weren't interested because I didn't have anything big on my resume yet.
Yeah.
But which is also crazy, not to go on tangent, but one of my friends that I met, Casey Mills, on a short film I did called Reclamation, he was also a very crucial part too because he told me, "Oh, you should um, look into my agency that I'm in," and it was Lovestone at the time. I was like, "Okay," and I was already kind of down on my luck. I was like, "I did this big thing, but I feel like no one's like blah, blah, blah. And then I messaged them, and then pretty much they messaged me right away. And that's when I met my first commercial agent ever, Jamie Love. I love her so much. She's so great. She's the best. But she got me my first big start in like bigger things, like commercials and stuff. Because I never done any of that before. I was always used to like short films. So like to go from short films to commercials was really scary to me.
Mhm.
And she basically gave me my big break and like give me a chance. And I didn't book anything the first year commercial wise, and I thought for sure I was gonna get fired. But then the second year um I ended up booking stuff, and it not to go full circle, but like my first commercial job was actually at Universal Studios,
Oh,
which
really?
was yeah, which was weird because as a kid, I'd always dream about what's it like on the other side of the gate, and then the first thing I booked was for Universal, and I actually got to go in the back lot, and I was like, it was the weirdest feeling. I was like, I've been wanting to know what it feels like to be like this since I was a kid, and now I'm on the other side. It was a very surreal moment. And then just after that, just building up commercial credits and stuff like that, and then trying to branch out to TV and film and stuff, and been very fortunate with that.
Yeah, like that is insane. Like honestly, that is
Yeah.
what dreams are made of. Of course, I go to
Yeah.
Universal Studios and like, maybe when I'm in LA or something, and or even the parks. I go to
Mm,
Florida often, so I either go to Florida one or even down
mm,
to in LA. But
sure. Yeah.
I always wonder what those things are like as well. I never been on a backbone of those things, but I always wonder
Mm,
what the backside that was for actors. And it's crazy that someone like you that was dreaming of it actually came true.
yeah. It was
Really?
yeah, it felt like a weird manifestation, and it was really cool because one of the people took a picture of me like in one of those director's chairs, and I was like leaning over, smiling, and you could see the whole Universal Studios gate.
Mhm.
So like, and then I got a picture of that, and I got to send it to my parents and stuff like that. So
Hey,
it was really
throwback
cool.
picture time. You should, I don't know if you did, but you
Yeah,
should make a collage of like with the first picture, then the second picture, and just make a collage of the years. And
I should honestly, I really should.
hey, it's not a bad idea. Just like a collage moment to see what you.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's still crazy to me. It feels like magic.
I know, it's insane.
Mm.
You recently came out with a new project, of course, with Julian called Real Life Scouts Honor, in which it was an audio drama series. Like, what was
That's right.
kind of like the most, challenging part about working on an audio drama series compared to a screen acting project?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous, like very nervous, because I've only ever been used to commercials at this point and just films. And it's like voiceover, I always knew it was hard, but like actually going in there, like I have like such a more found perspective of it. It was just like it kind of feels like you're kind of called on in the middle of class and you have to read in front of everyone.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like, and it's I don't know, it's just very like tense at first, but it ended up being a lot of fun. But I was really nervous because the people in the booths were so good, and I just very much wanted to make my character right and make sure everyone else was good, and I don't know. I just got to do it, and it was very scary at first, but everyone was so cool. It just kind of relaxed me, and the more and more I did it, I was like, it's not as bad. And sometimes it's just like I guess it was kind of nice not having a camera there sometimes, because then it's like you can just focus on the words. You don't have to worry about like trying to portray a certain emotion with your face. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's true.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that's the worst part about, screen acting is like you have to focus on the camera, but also like you have to remember your lines, your head, and all the emotions. But of
yeah,
course, with audio, you just have to remember the words and look at the scripts or whatever in front of you, and you're all set.
yeah.
Like
But I
that's
will say, oh, sorry, but I will say like it does make you focus more on your voice and like the way you're saying lines and how fast and how slow, which is like which opened my eyes now. Like even when I do like film stuff, like because I had that voiceover experience, like it makes me focus on not only my performance, like physicality, but like the voice more. Like it makes me more aware of it. And I feel like with that voiceover, it taught me that. So that was good. That was a good skill to learn from that project.
Yeah, and especially with audio, like you literally have like more time to actually realize the way you talk more than screen acting. Because you can just
Right.
realize
Yeah.
so many things. And of course, you just talk into a microphone when you're doing an audio, a drama series or something like that. So of course, you literally have more time to actually focus on that rather than something else.
Right. Yeah. It was a lot of fun though. A lot of fun. I would
I know.
definitely
It
do it
was
again.
shot during COVID, around COVID times, right?
Yeah, and that was kind of scary too, because it's like, I mean, everyone was very safe and wore masks, but there was always that slight fear because we'd have to test every time we went into the studio. And you know, how it's just like you know you're fine, but like, you know, when they're testing you and you're like, oh my God, what if I'm positive or whatever? Then it's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this whole production behind, you know what I mean? So like I was very careful and didn't go out the entire time I was doing it because I didn't want to risk the job, you know, because that's not fair to me or anyone else. But like it was nerve wracking. It was like, oh, like I don't want to screw up this production
I know.
with all
Honestly,
this.
I felt
Yeah,
the same. I'd be like, if I test positive, then I'm going to go to lose my mind the whole.
yeah, literally, exactly.
But if people are not, familiar with Worst God's Honor, what is it about?
Right. So basically, the best way, I mean, even Julian mentioned it, it's like how Casey and Elise kind of summed it up. It's kind of like Lord of the Flies meets zombies.
Mhm.
But like, um, in my, like, for me, I guess it's just about a group of kids that are forced to grow up quickly because there's obviously a zombie outbreak happening, and it's interesting. It's at a time in their life when you're going to camp and you're trying to figure out who you are and you're awkward and like, you know, you're just at that weird age. And it's like you deal with that. And then now you're also dealing with like trying to survive like this unfortunate event. So it's like it's forcing them to grow up in like a fast way, but it's kind of interesting to see how they all react and how they kind of mold into to young adults at this point. So it at first it sounds like it's a kid's show, but like if you actually sit down and listen to it, it does have like so much like adult themes to it, and I think that's what really drew me to it. You know?
Yeah, it's like it's not. It sounds like it's just for kids, but it's honestly really both for adults and kids. I
Yeah,
watched
that's what's cool
both
about it.
episodes of it, and it
Mm.
really is for really anyone that is over
Yeah,
6,
yeah.
which is insane. But it's what do you know what platforms it's on? I know it's on Spotify.
I think it's on Spotify. Um, I think it's on Apple. Um, I wouldn't say. I don't think it's on YouTube. I'm trying to think if anywhere else. I think the big one was Spotify though. Yeah, I should know this. I'm good.
Trust me, I wouldn't know
They're
either.
never gonna work with me again.
Don't worry.
uh,
Like I wouldn't know that answer either, so don't
yeah,
worry about
but
that part.
yeah, any I guess like it's mainly like the podcast stuff on Apple or Spotify, or that's about it.
Yeah, really the main
Yeah,
podcast platforms out there. But
yeah.
of course, to wrap everything up, like do you have like any like upcoming projects or anything coming out soon?
So the most recent thing, well, there's two things. The first thing I did recently, which was like last yearish, my friend Justin again. I we both wrote a short horror film, and we went out. He lives in Georgia, so I went out. I flew out to Georgia and shot it in Atlanta. Um, so we worked on that. It was just like a 10, 11 minute short film, but we originally worked on a feature film that we still are. But we wanted to shorten it into another small little side story that's different from our feature film. But like, so we worked on that, and now it's in the festival circuits. I think it's won like one or two awards so far. But eventually, when it's done running the festival circuit, we do want to put it online and see what people think about it, because you never know when you put it online versus like film festivals. You never know where it goes. So
Yeah,
we're
true.
hoping,
So it's like of course audience reactions are
yeah,
different than festival circuit.
and yeah, and it was cool because this was like the first thing. Like I actually got to produce too, so like I feel like $1,000 worth of my own money into it, which sounds crazy, but it's not a lot of money now. But like for me,
Yeah,
I'm
if you
like,
think
it's
about
like yeah, but we all put in some money to it, and we got the best cast and crew, so it actually looks really really good. So yeah, you'll see when it comes out. I'll let
yeah,
you know.
hopefully
But
soon. Fingers crossed we
yeah,
can catch you somewhere at the film
um,
expo or something. Who knows?
yeah. So that was the first thing. The other thing, I just wrapped up a short film, maybe 4 months ago. I can't remember. It's been a bit now, but I shot another short film for one of my friends. His name's Sam Wines. He basically just wrote like a really short film, it's like a really intimate scene between a grandpa and a kid with a teenager with you could just feel like tension between them. So it wrapped up on that, and it was very awesome. More cool people I got to meet. So I'm waiting for that one to come out soon. And I think he's actually writing. I think it's a feature film right now or another film right now, and he has me in mind for a role. So I'm actually currently reading his scripts, and then we're gonna probably talk about it, see where it goes.
Ooh, crazy.
Yeah,
Hey, more
yeah,
money in
yeah,
the books. More money in the books.
yeah,
Yeah, no, LA is a very expensive place, so of course you gotta afford
yeah. No,
else to
it
get more things
is
for resume, of course. So you gotta keep getting all
right.
this.
Yeah,
But of course, thank you everyone for listening. Make sure to go check out the audio series on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I think who knows if there's on more, we have to check out that one. But we'll see. But thank you everyone for listening. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode, and thank you so much for coming on and joining us
no,
and talking about the amazing work you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It felt this is a lot of fun. I hope we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, for sure. You're always
Yeah,
welcome to come on. So you're
I
always more than welcome
appreciate
to
that.
join. So thank you so much for coming on. I hope you
Of
enjoy the rest
course.
of your day.
I appreciate it. You too.